Okay, in this video, we are going to implement the CRUD operations with proper routing. So let's jump into Visual Studio, and I'm going to clean up the code a little bit. We are not going to have these middlewares. Of course, we need the routing over here, so let's delete this one, and let's delete this one just to clean up. We don't need the custom constraint, so let's delete it. And then let's try to see. So this is by position. We don't need it either. And we have a actor, not actor. We have the get by ID. And we're going to move this to the top. So just below, get all the employees. So we have two map get. And then post, put, and delete. Okay, so we have everything right here. And we don't need the custom constraint. Let's delete this class. What we need to copy from the source code. So let me show you the source code over here. So I'm going to copy the repository, which is the in-memory data store, over here. Paste it here. Okay. In fact, I actually want to implement it properly. So I am going to actually create a folder, and I'm going to call it data. And I'm going to create the employees repository class. First of all, the employee class. If we really want to implement everything properly, the employee class should be under the models folder. So maybe let's, instead of call it data, let's call it model. Let's call the folder models in case we're going to have some other models in the future. So for now, we're going to just implement the employee class here. So click on add, and then go over here and just basically cut this class right here. Now we are going to create another class, and this one is the employees repository. Okay, and go back to program.cs. We are going to cut this entire thing and paste it right here. Because this is in a different file, so I'm going to put public over here to make sure we can access it. Go back to employees, make sure it also has public. All right, so we are good now. Now let's close these two files, and let's go to program.cs and try to implement all of these. All right, so let's actually copy from what we had before, just to save some time. So if we read the source code here, this one, we don't need it. But perhaps we need to handle the root path. Otherwise, every time we run the application, when it goes to the root path, because the root path is the default one, right? So it's going to show us 404 not found, the dummy page. So let's actually copy and paste this, just basically duplicate it and have it targeting our root path. And here we're going to just say that welcome to the home page. All right, now we're going to implement this endpoint where we are going to get all of the employees. Okay, and this is going to be based on what we had here. This part, if ID exists in the query string, that's get employee by ID. We're going to, actually looks like we have some issues here. The status code is assigned at the bottom. That's kind of weird. We probably didn't test this before. It wouldn't work in that case. So anyways, I'm going to just paste it right here. So modifying the HTTP header should happen at the top. So let's put the status code right here. Actually, we can delete it. Okay, so by default, when there's no problems, it is always HTTP 200. Okay. So first of all, we get all of the employees, and then we set the header. Right? The content type header can be set this way, or can be set differently. Just say response.contentType because this is often used. Therefore, there's a separate property. Okay, so we show everything in an ordered list. Okay, we implement this, and let's give it a try. Actually, I don't want to implement everything and then try it at the end. give it a try, and our homepage works. Let's try to check employees, and our employees page also work. What I want to do here is I want to give this page a title. So here I'm going to write something maybe H2, and then I'm going to say employees, so that users know that this is the employees list page. And also perhaps we want to have a actual line break here, and let's run it again and go over here and try to go to employees page again, and we have the employees title display right here, and also list of. All right, let's go to the next one, which is get employee by ID. And let's go to our source code here, and that one is right. Okay, let's copy this and paste it right here. Minimize the solution explorer and paste the code right here. Now we are not going to get the ID from the query string, right? Because as you can see, we have the ID right here as a root parameter. So where do we get the root parameter? The root parameter is in the request object dot root values. And when the code runs over here, the constraint, the root parameter constraint already passed. That means we're going to have an ID for sure, and we know the ID is definitely an integer, right? So we don't need to use try parse. What we can do is we can just say var employee ID equals the parse. I'm going to parse ID to string, and I'm going to remove all of that, and we don't need the curly brace. And then okay. Now the employee ID is passed over here. We got all of the employees. The content type is this. And then we output name, position, salary. And if there's anything wrong here, right, employee is not loaded, then we display employee not found. Let's try again. All right, so let's go to employees /1. Okay, we're showing name, position, and salary. Perhaps we're going to give it a title again. So let's copy this. I'm going to actually remove this line break because after testing, I think we don't need it. Copy that and paste. So this is going to be the employee page. Okay, and let's rerun it. Make sure it still works very well. Go to /employees let's try /2, and we can see the employee information is listed right here. Okay, now let's go back and try to implement this map post. Okay, so we are going to go to the original code over here and then go to the post method. I'm going to copy this whole thing and come over here and paste it. Okay, so everything is very similar. I mean, actually, this is going to be exactly the same as before. We probably don't need to do anything. Yeah, we don't need to do anything. So let's hold down on testing. Also implement map put endpoint. Go over here, copy this, and put it over here. And this should be also exactly the same. Now we have the map, and let's also copy and paste that. This over here. This one is similar to the get by ID method, right? So let's scroll up over here and let's copy this code. We're getting the ID and scroll down, and I'm gonna paste this code. So we don't need all of this code, and we don't need this curly brace. So let's delete it, reformat this code. Now we have the employee ID, but we don't need a try parse and this curly brace as well. And let's reformat it again. Okay, so we have this simple authorization that looks for the authorization header, and it's hard-coded as Frank. So you can change this, change to your own name, for example. And now we use our delete employee method, and everything should work in the same way as before. So let's give it a try, and I'm going to try the delete endpoint, update endpoint, as well as post endpoint. Okay, so let's run the application, and let's bring up our postman. So let's go to Get Employees and on the Send button. Now we see these 3 different employees, right, in HTML now, and these are the default employees. And we're going to add another one. Let's go to Add Employee. Make sure that you're targeting the correct port number because the port number has changed, right? And because we only have 3 by default, we're adding the 4th one. It's going to be Tom Anderson. And let's click on Send button. And it says employee already added successfully. And let's run the Get Employees again. And we see Tom Anderson added as the 4th employee. Let's update the 4th one. So we're going to update Tom Anderson. And software developer, let's update the salary. So maybe let's update the manager, the position as well, and update it from developer to manager, and maybe raise the salary a little bit, by a lot, so that we can see the difference. And click on Send, and you can see 204, no content. And that's exactly what we expect. And let's go to employees. Actually, we should be able to see the difference, right? So this is the previous one, which is software developer. Let's click on Send button. And now you can see that it's updated to manager. Now let's go to delete employee. Again, the port number needs to correspond to this new application, right? And we are going to delete the 4th one. And let's try the authorization. Let's provide with the wrong name here. And it says you're not authorized to delete. So let's change it back. And let's say provide number 40 and click on Send. It says employee not found, 404 not found, right? So that's correct. Now let's try to delete the 4th one and click on the Send button. It says employee is deleted successfully. Let's go back to Get Employees and try to click on Send. So this is the previous result, right? We have Tom Anderson as the 4th employee. Now let's click on the Send button and we see 3 employees. And if we go to the home page over here and try to search for employees, we only see 3 employees now. So looks like our implementation works. And with this implementation, you can see everything is clearer, right? Because before, what we have is like this. We have everything with all of the logic in one middleware, this one. And that's not clean enough. So here, this is much better. We have the routing middleware. We have this endpoint middleware, and we created many endpoints inside the endpoint middleware. Later, we're going to learn how to organize the code, but so far, it's already much cleaner than before. Let me try to empty lines. All right, that's everything I want to show you in this video. You can definitely implement it in a different way as long as all of the functionalities are implemented. And thank you for watching. I will see you the next video.